Stuff Among Other Things weekly podcast with your hosts Nicholas Miller and Bruce Stewart.
Hey everybody, welcome to Stuff Among Other Things, where we talk about stuff.
And other things.
I'm Nick.
I'm Bruce.
And today, we're going to get deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very deep. And I know we usually keep things topical. We had another discussion, on sadness and depression, so it's not the first time we've touched this kind of direction, but this is probably even more so.
I don't know, the one that we did there with, like depression, that was deep.
That was, yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's interesting in this, especially in this day and age with all the, they have the different advertisements about it from Gillette and whatnot, about the toxic masculinity and whatnot. And I think this kind of really does play in that general sense of guys don't talk about feelings. And
no.
It's definitely not in this society.
No,
in America.
Guys talking about feelings is uncool.
Yeah, it's not manly.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of that mindset whatsoever. So it's good to show that guys feel things too. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Well, not necessarily feelings, but life. Life is
life
the topic.
Life in general, like the meaning of life,
right.
The meaning of why we get up every day and continue to do the things that we do. You know. But first off, I just want to say, welcome back.
Yeah, we took a hiatus. We were gone for a few weeks. I appreciate everybody hanging in there tough and waiting for us to get back to it.
Yeah, so if you're watching this because you're an avid, one of our 4 viewers or / listeners.
Hi, Chris.
Hey. We really appreciate it. So, we usually just kind of start off, we always have some kind of list that we always do.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have a list for this week.
Yeah, how do you list the meaning of life?
Yeah.
When you don't even know what it is. I guess we'll just start off with not the big question, but a big question. And I'm going to throw this at you first.
Sure.
Where do you personally find the meaning in your life?
Honestly, everything for me really comes down to my daughter.
Okay.
Like, everything that I do, in one way or another, is tied to her.
Okay.
And all I want to do is to give her the life that I never had.
Okay.
One of those kind of deals. Like, I'm going to get really, really, really personal with this one real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Me and my dad never really saw eye to eye growing up.
Okay, and that's normal.
Yeah. My father's father, my grandfather, he passed away whenever my dad was 7.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 or 8, something
Holy
along that
cow.
kind of line. And he only had one other male figure in his life. Mm-hmm. That was my Uncle Kent, his older brother.
Oh, okay.
Problem is, he was 19 at the time.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So he didn't really have anyone to look up to, By the time, he was looking for a male role model, my Uncle Kent was gone and, living his own life and starting his own thing. And he just didn't have anyone to, set an example of what a father should be.
Okay.
What a father should do. Numerous different times in my childhood where I wanted to do something with my father and he didn't want to have anything to do with me.
Oh, wow.
He just thought, you have a kid and the kid does its thing.
You have your life, I have mine.
Yeah, pretty much. And you put some newspapers on the floor.
A little bowl of water.
A little bowl of water, like an exercise wheel or something like that. And, the kid will just fend for himself. Well, needless to say, I was pretty much raised by my mother.
Okay.
That explains why I am the way I am.
Is that a good thing or
yeah,
bad?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where you're going with that.
My mom is awesome.
Yes, she is.
She's one cool chick.
Yeah, she half adopted me.
Yeah, but the issue that I have is there were so many times where I wanted to do something with him and he didn't want to have anything to do with me. And there was one time in particular, my sister and I wanted to go to the park. We wanted to, swing, play, that kind of thing.
As kids do.
And he was the only one home. So, we asked him, he's just ignored us. So we asked him again. Didn't even pay attention to us. And we kept asking and asking. And then he finally said, if you ask one more time, we're not going.
we didn't get a confirmation.
Yeah. So we're like, well, are we going? He's like, that's it. We're not going. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for being the father I always wished and hoped you'd be.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was that exact moment that I swore that I would never, ever, ever be like that to my kids. Okay. And I take my parenting as kind of a in-your-face approach to my father. Everything that I do, I want to show him I did this on my own. Okay. My daughter is going to be a better person than I ever was because you never taught me how to be a better person.
Okay, I mean, I can see the ideals behind that. I have a few issues with that. I don't think it's up to you per se as to who your kid turns into. No, but like I'm always going to be there supporting her in anything she wants to do. Yeah. You know, like I can't remember what we were doing. I think we were just singing a song a few days ago. And she remembered the lyrics just perfectly fine. She came over and she wanted the high five. As a reminder, his kid's 2.
Yeah, so. she's 2.
Yeah, my 10-year-old knew how to say words.
Yeah. She came over, she wanted a high five, and she got a double high five, you know? Yeah. Like we're having fun, we're interacting, right. You know? Like I'm trying to be a father to her. Okay. I'm not just ignoring every single plea that she has, daddy, I want to do this, daddy, I want to do that. You know, like I look forward to spending time with my kid. Yeah. As opposed to my father, who didn't really want to have anything to do with me.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't realize that about your childhood and whatnot.
Honestly, this is the first time I've
ever said it out loud.
Yeah, well, I told my mother about this one time, and
she was like, "Huh? What? I'm sorry. Well, were you talking?"
It was hard for me to mention anything about it, and I guess she was just like, "Well, that's just the way your father is." I'm kind of pouring my heart out here. Like,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it's just like, sorry, you got dealt those cards, kiddo. Yeah. You know, I don't know, but that's pretty much why I am the way that I am with my kid. Like, if you ever follow me on social media, 95% of the stuff that I post is about my kid. Right. If you don't like it, I don't care. Unfollow me. I don't like you then. But the other 5% is just stupid memes and nonsense.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's pretty much the meaning of my life. Everything culminated to me trying to be the best person that I can for my kid. Okay. Like, I've always wanted to be a dad so badly. Like, that was my ultimate goal. Some kids want to grow up to be a rock star. Mm-hmm. Some kids want to grow up to be like a tech billionaire. I grew up wanting to be a dad because I think I was that angry at my father. Wow. That I wanted to prove him wrong in everything that he ever did.
That's fair. Can I propose a question that?
Yeah, of course.
Could come across as offensive.
No.
Well, I mean, and obviously I don't mean it that way, but and this is more about other folks than you specifically, but I'm going to ask you because you're the only one in the room.
Fair enough.
How do you toe the line between giving my kid what I couldn't have and spoiling? Like, how do you?
Well, it really comes down to what you take as too far. Like your own personal interpretation.
Where's that line?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Like if my kid comes out like, I want chocolate, I'm not just going to give my kid chocolate. Right. You know,
even if at that age you would have been denied that as well.
Exactly. But it's more or less like, I'm not going to give you chocolate. Here's the reason why. If you're able to do this, then I will. Right. One of those kind of deals. Like, hey, if you finish your meal, then we can have chocolate as a dessert. Right. Using it as like an incentive, as an example. But like for toys, I spoil her. I spoil her with toys. Yeah. She doesn't want for anything. But it's one of those kind of deals where like, okay, we're going to go to Walmart on Saturday. Mm-hmm. She has to go to the toy section.
Okay, already.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten there. We're pretty lucky. We're not there.
It's fun. I have to have a toy today. Give me a toy. Give me a toy. It's like, okay, how about you pick out a $5 Barbie?
Okay.
How about you pick out an $8 car, and you only get one thing?
Right.
You know, one of those kind of deals. Like, I want to spoil her, but I also want her to understand that you're not entitled to certain things.
Yeah.
Like, everything you see, you don't own.
Right.
You know, I want her to understand the difference between right and wrong. Yeah, I want her to say please. I want her to say thank you. I just want her to be the best person that she could possibly be. You know, I think I more or less, you know, taught myself the kind of person that I had to be because I had the perfect role model of what I shouldn't be.
And that's fair. Even in my life, I've not necessarily to the extent of you, but I've definitely been able to take negatives as inspiration.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for all folks to be able to look and say, hey, you know what? I don't like how I feel when this person does that. Maybe I should I should consider not doing it myself. So
Precisely.
To others, yeah. So that's a good thing to learn. That's a good life lesson right there. One question that I had, and I really thought of this as soon as you started to answer your question, because it was all, you know, my child. How, and you're obviously going to have to look back on this. How do you think you would have answered that question 3 years ago?
Let's rewind it back a little bit more. Let's say 5.
Okay, that's fine. Pre-children, pre-parenthood.
Yeah.
What would have been that meaning in your life?
At that point in time, I probably would have said, you know, my relationships.
Yeah, because
with all the people around me.
Right.
You know,
friends,
like
family.
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily like, you know, a significant other or, you know, family, so on and so forth. I was kind of driven by, you know, what people thought of me as a person.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That can be dangerous.
It's very dangerous. It's horrible whenever you concern yourself with what people are thinking of you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm gonna change my answer.
Okay.
Career at that point.
Oh, okay.
I was working at Lowe's, moving up the ranks, being, you know, sales specialist, and then moved up to a department manager, then moved up, you know, to
whatever the next rung on the ladder is.
What was that?
I don't know.
Service manager?
Something like
I don't know. It's the next rung up. I don't know. It's just working its way up till the point that I found out I was going to have a kid. And at that point, it's like, well, I'm working these ridiculous retail hours. You know, I can't be out till 1 in the morning and then turn around and have to go back in at 6 o'clock. Like, I'm never going to see my kid grow up.
Yeah.
So that's whenever I actually left Lowe's for a steady, you know, Monday through Friday gig.
Set schedule.
Exactly.
Yeah, which I prefer.
That way I can, you know, spend time with my girls and actually see some daylight.
Yeah, and you see that in some folks, sometimes a little too late, you get those people that they don't let go of that career-driven mentality in time. You know, and then
absolutely.
By the time they realize where they were, you know, maybe they're estranged with their children, or they just don't have that great of a relationship, or maybe they, at this point, they're grandchildren. You know, they're like,
absolutely.
oh, I love the idea of spending time with my grandchildren. They're really the first kids I've spent time with because of my career-driven lifestyle up until this point. So,
but I mean, I think that's what was driving me at that point. But I still had the end goal that I wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
That way, whenever I found out that I was going to be a dad, you know, it pretty much just changed my entire mindset. Saying, okay, if you're going to be the best person that you're going to be for this kid, how are you going to be there for?
Right.
You know. And that's where I did the whole career decision. Best thing I ever did, honestly. God.
Yeah. It's you hear, in my opinion, I've heard more positive responses out of people kind of redirecting their lifestyle more towards family, and less towards career. Like you almost never hear the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't hear people like, I should have, not gone to my kids' plays so much so I could put some extra hours in at the office. I mean, and obviously economically you have to figure out if that's viable.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you have to be able to support your family.
Right, yeah. You can't just be like, well, I guess I'll just cut back to 10 hours a week so I can watch my kids watch cartoons.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it all comes down to, your responsibilities. But I was telling you earlier, like last night, I was just reading my kid a book and she fell asleep in my arms. And it's the simplest of things.
Right.
Honest to God, it's so simple. And most people will just, in one ear, out the other, and it's just, written into the page of history. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to remember that happening in 20 years.
Right.
It's the small things that matter. Being there for the small things.
Better than any late night party that you were attending when you were 19.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I would turn down pretty much anything just to have one lazy night with my daughter.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm very similar in that sense. Absolutely.
Well, now according to this, I've been drowning on for 15 minutes about me. How about you?
Yeah, we're still in the first question.
Yeah.
We're halfway through it.
Good Lord.
No, that's fine. This is what we're here for. So, I learned things about you, and I feel like I know more about you than most people. So
you pretty much do.
Yeah.
And anybody.
So I guess you want me to answer the where do you find the meaning in your life?
I mean, if you don't mind.
It's not too dissimilar from your answer. At this point in my life, I'm still kind of figuring out the fatherhood thing. I mean, obviously I know how to be a father, but my kid and I don't click that well. I don't know that my child likes me. is I guess the meaning of it. Obviously she does. We get along quite well. She gives me high fives. But I don't know that I'm there yet as far as having a great relationship, just because I don't think my kid is old enough to have a relationship with yet. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Every day that she learns something new, or just, I don't know, just seeing her smile. Like the other day I was like swinging her around in the kitchen, beating her feet off of the fridge. That's, being a good parent. And she's laughing her head off. And I was just, like you said, it's like one of those greatest things ever to hear your own child laugh. It's
the best drug in the world.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Family. Yeah, absolutely. And recently I had some personal experiences that really drove that home. But not just my immediate family, which is definitely number one. I'm sorry to you rare cousins out there that maybe might be hearing this. The homestead is number one, A+ all the way. But beyond that, extended family and the fact that I actually don't have a lot of family left, close to my branch of the family tree. So I'm kind of running out of members on that, and it's really driving the notion home. But yeah, I agree 100%. Family is
well. Also, at the same time, if your side of the family is dwindling, you just get that much more in depth and that much closer.
Yeah.
Your father has been having some health issues, and I mean it's not a good thing that you have to be there in the sense of of him being ill or being sick, but you have seen your dad more in the last 3 weeks than I think you've seen him in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate. It really makes you consider.
It's unfortunate, but at the same time, I feel like you're going to have a stronger relationship in the end of this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I'm with you on that. I don't know that I need to talk about it for 15 minutes.
No,
I got 3 minutes in, and I'm just like,
no, you're fine,
ditto.
Man.
Also, family.
Yeah. Going off of the notes that we had with it, I had family ? Also interests. Not just your own, but the interests of the people in your life.
Right.
Perfect example. Exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
Podcasting.
Yeah.
I just flat out asked you one day, like, hey, do you want to do a podcast?
And I replied, what's a podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm old. I don't know anything.
We're hipping with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do the kids say? We're on fleek.
Yeah. I'm probably just like fleek adjacent, though. I don't know that I'm directly on.
Ooh, fleek adjacent.
Yeah, I just I'm aware of it, but not.
Oh, what was that Dennis Leary song? Deep in the cockles of your heart, even below the subcockles.
Yeah. It's just like the next step.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it. So I don't know that I'm on fleek, but I've driven by it.
Yeah, but I feel like this is something that us recording.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, we pretty much do this Tuesday evenings. Mm-hmm. It just works out that way on our schedule. Bruce is ridiculously busy, and I am never busy. So when he says, "Hey, we can record," I'm like, "Okay, I'm getting in the car."
You got to pencil it in.
Yeah, but I look forward to this every single week. It's something that he decided to, do along with me because it was something that I wanted to do.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's really important, and I do struggle at that. Is keeping in mind that other people want to do things that you might not want to do.
Yeah.
And you got to keep an open mind. A friend of mine not too long ago, a couple years back, got into a relationship with somebody that I never expected him to really have any interest with. I mean, they were kind of polar opposites, and they were going into these different activities and things that you're like, man, there's no way you enjoyed antiquing or whatever it was, you know. And he was like, listen, I didn't think I would either, but I enjoyed how much she enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing that happiness, and so it really kind of, you got to remember that sometimes your loved one's happiness is enough to give you the happiness. Well, maybe the actual event or the thing that you're doing might not be up your sleeve, but so it's important to kind of try to branch out and try new things. Don't be a hermit, which I'm really good at being.
Well, I'm going off of that. A few weeks ago, took the family down to the Baltimore Aquarium.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to lie. I really don't like people. I really don't like people.
I can love a person and hate people at the same time.
Exactly. I think people as a whole are, just god-awful, and we're a plague upon the earth, and we're just, that's another episode.
Yeah.
I have a book that I'm writing. It's along that kind of line. However, I didn't like the fact that it was a Saturday. It was crowded beyond all recognition.
Which, I mean, to be fair, you were part of that crowd. You were in front of the guy that was behind you, mad that he wasn't in your spot.
Well, so. I understand that I was part of the problem,
Yes.
but I'm me, so screw that guy. Anyhow, tickets were $40 a person.
Ooh.
Like that.
I didn't realize it was that much.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess they call it like the National Aquarium, so they can charge whatever they want.
Wow!
And like you get in there, and the whole place smells of mildew because it's nothing but water and aquariums.
Yeah.
It's all so dimly lit, like you could just barely make out pathways, so people are stepping on your feet.
Right.
Should have worn my steel toe Red Wing shoes. I hated being around all those different people. Like I've been to the aquarium before. I've seen the fish. I understand what they are. Yeah. And here's the thing: I only wanted to see the mantis shrimp. It's the only thing I wanted to see. It's one of the coolest things on the planet. If you've never seen a mantis shrimp, it's magnificent. I guess its eyes have like a special like chromosome thingamajiggy that it can see like billions of colors. It moves so fast it boils water.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the thing is just badass. And guess what? It wasn't in the tank. The one thing that I wanted to see...
It was like hitting the showers when you came through or something?
He must have been taking a leak somewhere. Stepped out for a beer. I don't know what he was doing.
Take a smoke break.
Yeah, but that was the one thing I wanted to see. And I didn't get a chance to see it. I'm miserable this entire time, but I see my daughter, and her eyes are just... they're the size of dinner plates.
Yeah, what are these things? These are amazing.
Like she's having a good old time. Like, oh my goodness, like... what is this? Is that a dolphin? There's a shark. Like, she's having so much fun. And I take every single bad thing that happened to me that day, and it just flew out the window.
Right.
I just see her smiling, and I smile.
Just puts it in perspective.
Yeah, like, I don't care. Like, I will put up with this times a billion if it makes you smile for 5 seconds.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I actually have a very similar experience every single year with that. It's my family camping trip when we all go to the family cabin, and this is a pretty notable sized trip. I've got relatives coming in from all over the country to do this week-long camp, and in my personal life, in my job, I'm a manager, and I literally am one of the 3 camp managers. And I, like, during my 9 to 5, I'm done at 5, well, 6, but whatever. Mm-hmm. But with camp, I feel like I'm working all week long to make sure that this one over here is doing okay and that one over there, their machine is running and things like that, because we go ATVing and whatnot. And it is a week long nonstop manage fest. I am just constantly doing things, setting up the shower, setting up the kitchen and things of that nature at this cabin. And every year I'm doing it, and I hate it until I realize how awesome it is. Until we're all sitting around the campfire, and I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even care that I had to do all those things. I had to get up at the butt crack of dawn and do all this stuff and make sure I'm taking care of everything, because these are my people. You know, like, this is my family, and I'm loving every second of it. Beyond that, and every year I go through it. It always amazes me, because I'm always like, why do I go through all this? Why don't I put more on other folks or something like that? And then I look around and I see, you know, we have members of the family that don't get to do this as often as maybe I do. Just because I'm local to the camp, more or less, and it, like you said, it just kind of, it makes all that other stuff not even matter. Yeah. It doesn't even matter. You know what? Yeah, I had to do this and do that. And, you know, at the end of the week, I genuinely feel like I need a week off from my vacation before I go back to work. Or sometimes I just I need to go back to work so I can relax. You know, so it's a lot of work, and then in the end, you don't think about that. Oh
yeah, absolutely.
A month later, let alone years later, when you're looking back fondly. And of course, nostalgia tends to blanket things, and you always look back far enough, and you're always fond on everything, because you kind of start to forget the bad stuff. But maybe it's because it didn't matter. Maybe I'm just being whiny at the moment, and in the end, it was worth every sweat. You know, every drop of sweat, every painstaking moment.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I feel like I also do that exact same thing on a daily basis. People don't like. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate my job. Not by any means.
Sure.
But you're never going to find one single person, you know, unless they have like their dream job, where it's like, oh man, I can't wait to get to work. No, my alarm clock goes off. I'm like, oh God. Oh, yeah. You know, like no one wants to go to work.
Yeah.
And you can have like the worst day ever. And at the end of the day, it's like, hey, guess what? I'm going home to the things that make me happy.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I could really have the worst day on the planet, and I have, you know, a half-hour drive for me to look forward to going and picking up my little one.
Right.
You know, and she makes everything better.
Yeah, and then just kind of the rest of the day just kind of flitters away.
The second I clock out, I don't care what's going on at work.
Right.
You know?
That's important.
Work and home are two different things. Like I was getting phone calls on Saturday and Sunday about things at work. You really think I'm answering? I got a joke for you. It's called Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very important for me to be able to clock out when I clock out.
Yeah. I guess we can move on to
the second question. Don't worry, we only have 17 more questions after this.
It's not a big list.
No, it's fine.
Do your actions reflect the person you were, are, and will become?
That is deep. I might have to ponder that. I even wrote it down and I didn't think about it. Do my actions reflect the person that the past, we'll start with that, with the person that I was. Not necessarily if you go back far enough. I definitely, had... everybody goes through those moments where they grow up. I mean, you may not call it that at the time. It might be a tough time or whatever, but you grow up. So,
well, as you go through experiences, you're gaining more knowledge.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, even maybe not so much 10 years ago, but definitely 15 years ago, I didn't want to own a house and have a job and I wanted to be a rock star. I don't know why. It sucks.
I wanted to be a ballerina butterfly.
Yeah, whatever. So. But in the last 10 years, I've really come full circle, and I really do genuinely like my life. I mean, I feel quite blessed that I can say that. Not everybody has that, this is going well, feeling, and right. I hope that anybody that doesn't have that does soon. I can only hope for happiness for anyone. That deserves it, and unless you don't use your blinkers, and then I really just hope your life is the worst.
You only have to move your finger an inch to drive safer. Use your turn signals.
So, do my actions now necessarily reflect my past? Only so far. Only a recent past. Who I am? Yeah, I mean that's who I am is who I am. I think your actions absolutely represent. If you have a moment where maybe you lose your cool, you get upset.
Well, I think there's like a gray area where it's more or less like your repeated actions reflect who you are. Because, I mean, everybody has, like, a bad day.
Oh, yeah.
Or a situation where it's blown out of proportion or fill in the blank. You know, if someone freaks out, it doesn't really matter what it is.
Right.
But if it's a ongoing thing, like, let's say, for example, like, you freak out at somebody. You start screaming at them because you're having a bad day.
Oh, my.
And then the next day, you do it again. And the next day, you do it again. At a certain point, it's not you're not having a bad day. You're just a jackbutt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah, absolutely. That's who you are.
Yeah, you know, it's all repetitive actions pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah, who I am is who I am, and take it, you know, good or bad. And who I will become, I don't know. I hope so. I feel like the trajectory of my life is appropriate.
Right.
I would like to think that I'm going to just continue with this. I have no aspirations for stardom or anything, you know.
Right.
I can't honestly say that I have a dream, because I don't want to use the word content. I am genuinely content, but it's not like, well, this will do. It's just like, I'm happy.
Yeah, like I would like to have enough money that I can do what I want on a daily basis, and have enough money that I would make in a regular job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to be a quadrillionaire. I mean, that'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. But as long as I have enough money, you know, keep the lights on, keep the food on the table, buy the occasional toy for the kiddo, you know. Like, we don't make a dime off of this. I actually lose money every month for... But... Like, if we were to the point where we were, you know, making a substantial amount of money that would be livable for at least half of an income, I would do this full time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just what you are. I'm having a brain fart. Like, yeah, I don't know either. You're giving me like this blank look.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know which direction you're going with it.
We'll just call it. That's my thought.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's fair.
Okay. How about next up on the list? What is the best way to obtain happiness? Now, I don't think this would necessarily be for you, but more or less as a collective for...
We the people.
Yeah, we the people.
Okay, just folks in general.
Yeah, I mean, would it be objects? Would it be affection, adoration, stardom, money?
I think, well, there's definitely a focus on money that I think is unfortunate. And obviously those people out there, they're like, I got to work 3 jobs to get by. No, they need to focus on making sure they get by. And I hope they can climb some ladders and do better. But I think it is unfortunate how many people really just focus on the monetary side of life. I don't. I'm comfortable. You know, I have a home. It's heated. you know, I'm very...
The lights are on. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm quite happy. I'd love to have maybe a slightly bigger house, but I don't need a mansion. I don't need a library or a theater room or a bowling alley in my basement, a wine cellar.
Yeah.
I don't even drink wine.
So. There's been so many cases where I've heard, you know, no matter how much money you have, our graves are going to be the same size.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of fat, so mine will be a little wider.
Oh, but... me too, dude. Woo, I'm a solid B cup here.
Yeah, but, that's a good point. So, you know, it's there's some old misers out there in history that have died with a lot of money and no love, and I really think that love needs to be the focus. You know, it's going to sound really sappy. I don't know. I don't really care. Love should be the focus. I think a person that's loved genuinely, not like a celebrity type scenario where everybody loves this. No, I mean like a genuine relationship, a back and forth, not just idolized, but genuinely loved. I think you can be loved by 3 people and be the richest person on the planet. Or one person. It doesn't matter. But I think love needs to be a focus. especially self-love. You know, so many people...
You have to like the person that you are.
Right, yeah.
You know, I think that's very, very important.
Yeah.
The people that don't like themselves, you can have so many, terrible things happen. Just self-destructive natures. You're just tearing yourself down.
Yeah, and that's actually I just had a discussion with a friend last week or so, and he did something silly. He did something kind of dumb. He just wasn't thinking clearly with his head.
Right.
Nothing bad. It's not like he went out and got a face tattoo or anything like that. He was doing an activity, and in that activity, I'm like, hey, this other step, if you did this instead, it would make that activity better. And he goes, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. And he mentioned, he said, I wish I were as smart as you. And I do not like that at all because, we all have our own value and I don't necessarily think I'm that smart anyways. But, and I kind of I almost let it go, but then I went back to him and I kind of pulled him to the side and I said, listen, if somebody came to me and they were talking about you, the way you talk about you, I would stop them. I would have to say something. I would have to interact with them in a way and say, listen, I don't care for you talking about my friend that way. How dare you call him stupid?
Right.
The way that you're telling yourself that. Like, why are you so rude to yourself? In a way that you'd never let somebody talk about your wife, your kids, your friends, your family. Don't do that. And I think it's I'm not trying to be all Oprah on you, but I think it's just really important to remember that you gotta like yourself.
Yeah,
you really do, and it's important to remember that you're a person too. I think a lot of people take a back seat; they see other people as more important, and that's a life is a life. That's not a fair way to consider yourself.
Like for me, I'm constantly making fun of myself on a daily basis.
And self-deprecating humor is fine, as long as you don't believe it.
Well, there's a difference of saying it because you believe it,
right, and
saying it because you want to make someone laugh.
Right. Yeah. I mean, cracking a joke, and I can do it. I can make fun of someone else. I can make fun of myself, and at the end of the day, it's all in good fun.
Right. Right.
But
as long as you're not trying to be demeaning and hurtful.
Exactly. Not the idea isn't to just insult yourself so that somebody else can't, because they're probably thinking that too. That's not cool. And if somebody else is thinking those things about you, you don't need them. There's over what? Are we up to 8 billion yet? I know there's over 7 billion people. I haven't been counting.
I'm not sure.
There's a lot of people on this planet,
there's a hot few.
Yeah, and if you have somebody in your life that's not contributing to your happiness, and that doesn't mean that they have to be giving you things or anything. They just, when you see the person, if your immediately thought is that I like that person, or hey, I'm glad that person's here, find new people.
Yeah.
Find new people.
Surround yourself with people that make you better as a person.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both have tiny circles. Really tiny circles.
Like, anytime you talk about a person that you have a friendship with, I'm amazed that I'm not also friends with that person.
Right, yeah.
It's seriously that small of a circle.
Right, so I think that's a very important thing. So as far as, to go back to your question, best way to obtain happiness, money it genuinely can, and that falls under objects, which is the next line there. It's like you give people the money is the root of all evil and things like that. I don't know. It's nice to have money. Well,
there's so many people that say, "Oh, money can't buy you happiness." I want to find out for myself.
Yeah, I don't trust you.
Prove it.
So yeah, I mean, it's obviously anybody struggling financially, they're going to tend to be a little less happy than somebody that isn't. Now, excess, I don't think is necessary. Is somebody that owns 3 helicopters going to be happier than somebody that owns 1 decent car? Maybe not. Maybe it's a headache. Maybe it's a hassle. Maybe they just they're milking, or they're giving into that self-importance that isn't important.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to fill a void with things because they don't have fill in the blank.
Yeah. Well, probably.
Yeah.
I'd give you $1. You know, I'd bill in a bit of $1. It's love that they're lacking. So
exactly, but everybody's different. Everyone has their own paths. And
right? Yeah, and I'm obviously talking from my perspective.
Well,
there's probably somebody out there that would much rather have money than a family, and that's
guaranteed.
sad to me. But maybe to them that's what works. And hey, as long as you're not hurting others, you go do your lonely thing.
Here's the thing: if it makes you happy, then go for it.
And it doesn't make anybody else unhappy.
Yeah. like if murder makes you happy, don't do that.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Right. But if not having a family makes you happy, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, there's so many instances where people just want to sit alone in their apartments. You know? You do you. If that's what puts a smile on your face, then say okay with me. As long as you're not making someone else, sad or dead. Right.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. As long as all parties involve consent. So
pretty much.
As far as objects go, I can absolutely say there are objects that I'm kind of a collector, and you are more even than me.
Well.
But there are certain things I get, and then like I have ideas of what I want. I don't need one of everything, but I usually pick for instance, guitars. I have a handful of guitars, but I'm really kind of done.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot more guitars that I really, really want.
Yeah, there's only like one or two more that I want to get. But I think we're also to that point where we're more or less like we do this as a hobby rather than something that we do to, I guess, fill the void that we didn't have that we had.
It's music will always be a passion to me, and really I most of the time prefer to listen to music than to play it. So playing music, I think it fell out of the passion category down into just a hobby.
Right.
Yeah. So I definitely understand why people like things. We're all just raccoons at heart. Ooh, shiny! I want it. I'm going to take it home and keep it.
I think me and you are doing that right now with bikes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. I want stuff, and does the stuff bring me happiness? It can, but it's usually fleeting.
Yeah.
How many times do you get something that you're just like, this is the greatest thing ever, and you're still like that a year later? I haven't touched that drum set in a while.
Well, there's extenuating circumstances about that, but like something that a lot of people don't realize, or you might not even realize, like the whole thing with me getting my Fender guitars, my amp,
trumpet,
like
trumpets, plural.
Yeah, like I got that because it gave me a chance to play music with you,
right?
Whenever I'm at home, I'm not pulling out my guitars.
Yeah, me neither. Other than with my child, I almost never play drums without you in the room.
And for people that don't know, Bruce and I, we go bike riding all the time, like not like Harleys and stuff, like actual bicycle.
We are the engines.
Yeah, I hope you get a big trunk because I'm putting my bike in it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we're constantly talking about this, pretty much throughout the day of, hey, what about this bike? Hey, what about that bike? Mm-hmm. And we're getting ready to pull the trigger on, getting some actual nice bikes.
Decent bikes, like not Walmart quality like I've been riding.
And like for a normal person, spending hundreds of dollars on a object that you're only going to be using how many times a year?
Yeah, we're going to be lucky to ride these things 10 times a year.
Well, I definitely want to ride more than that. The problem we had last year was every single day it was like Seattle.
Yeah. It rained.
There was nothing but rain all year long. It was stupid.
Yeah.
But the only reason I want to get a bike, is so we can go riding.
Yeah, I
don't know if I'll go riding by myself that often.
I have zero desire to do most things by myself. I hate driving by myself. It's just like and I don't.
When's the last time you went to a movie by yourself?
That's weird. I thought only psychopaths did that.
I'm pretty sure that's only.
Yeah.
They're the same kind of people that pour the milk before the cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, those are the single moviegoers.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Exactly. Like there's certain things that you don't even think about as normal.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. To go back on, I'm kind of like realizing this as we speak. All of the objects that I have, the handful of collections, I don't have a ton of stuff, but I have some stuff. everything in my collection is to be used with another person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bought. I might have bought 1 or 2 guitars. I wouldn't have had all these because every time I get one, I'm always like, oh, I could do this with this person or with these kind of people or do this kind of music.
I can use it for this type.
I wouldn't buy a drum set otherwise. And ATVs, same thing. I don't want to load my 4-wheeler up into my bed and go to a trail and ride by myself. That's stupid.
Pretty much.
I don't want to do it. But to do it with others, that's fun.
Yeah. Will, 2 more questions on the list.
This next one's heavy.
Yeah.
This next one's heavy.
What are you going to do to better yourself as a person?
Nothing. I am perfect. No? That wasn't the right
Good
answer.
God. I just wasn't expecting that.
No, I mean when I was writing it earlier, I'm like, I don't know. That one kind of hit me because I'm like, I don't know that I am doing anything to better myself as a person, and I know I'm not perfect. And then it like made me feel a little sad inside because I was just like, oh, nothing. I don't know, and I need to think about that. And I think it's a very important thing to do is to be your best you.
Yeah.
And I'm not actively doing that, and kind of didn't realize it until just today. That being said, I still act. I strive to better myself in circumstance. At work, I always try to learn at my job and try to do my job better. And react differently to situations if something's inappropriate. Just last week, I apologized to 2 coworkers because I was a jerk, and I had to swallow my pride and say, hey, "Listen, that was not fair of me, and I need to know." I need to make sure for future reference that I don't act that way again. It wasn't really a big deal. I mean, I made one more angry than the other one, but it was unfair. I wouldn't have appreciated being in their shoes in that scenario. Just being kind of a butthole. I definitely strive to be a better version of something, a better worker, a better mechanic. I'm not really a mechanic, but I work on my own stuff and. I always want to learn new ways to do that. But to be a better person, I don't know that I try to do that, and that's not good. I feel really disappointed in myself with my answer, but it's
now you know what you're going to need to be working on.
Yeah. Why do I suck at being better at this?
I think for me, it's going to be. I'm constantly trying to remind myself that I need to think before I speak.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm not gonna lie. I got a really bad temper. It's the most unfortunate part about me, and
realizing is definitely half the battle.
Sure. Absolutely. But it's just I need to make sure that I don't let my emotions cloud my judgment.
Yeah. Which is far, far easier said than done.
Yeah, I need to remember to take a step back and do I want to just lay into this person and just give them the full wrath of anger, or do I want to just realize hey, they would I wouldn't want someone screaming at me,
right?
I think that's where I need to better myself. But other than that, I'm no one tells you how to be a parent. There's
tons of people tell you how to be a parent, and they're all wrong. Stop it. I'll use the wipes I want to use. I use the unscented ones because it hurts her tushy. But everybody will tell you how to be a parent, but you're right. Nobody tells you how to be a parent.
Yeah, there's no official parent handbook, you know? Everyone's just kind of fumbling their way through, sleepless nights of just trying to figure out, why are you crying, kid? What can I do to take your pain away? It's one of those kind of deals where I feel like I'm going to be doing the best that I can with things. Mm-hmm. Would it be, what other people are interpreting as the best? Maybe not. Mm. But, every person is doing, their own thing to, I guess, be the best that they can. Yeah, and life is fluid like that. Yeah, what works for one doesn't necessarily work for the other, and things are constantly changing. What works today might not work tomorrow. We know that whenever it comes to getting your kids to eat the food right now. Exactly. Just eat your vegetables, kid. Yeah, broccoli is good for you. Yeah. But,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And that's absolutely something I could stand to work on. Stepping back and considering the situation. I think a good moment of devil's advocate, even mentally, just step back and try to consider what the situation. How did you get to that point? You're upset at someone. Something happened. You're upset, and you want to just tell them their face is dumb and just make them feel bad. And you have to consider, what happened to get you that situation? Was it an accident? Mm-hmm. Are they remorseful? Was it on purpose? Are they doing something to you? Well, do you need to retaliate? Is that necessary? Do you have to have a retaliation even if somebody does wrong you?
Yeah. Do you have to have the last word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I always do, but no, you don't. Yeah. So I think those are very important aspects to consider. And most important is to just remember that you're not done, not to get all hippie on you, but life really is a journey, and mm-hmm. you're going to consistently try to be better.
Well,
I should, at least.
Honestly, like if I'm looking at it, life is nothing but a series of challenges.
Oh yeah.
Every single day you're going to run into,
and not one at a time.
No. Sometimes it's
juggling them.
Yeah, sometimes it's a boulder that's coming at you.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think the person that you are is determined by how you face every obstacle that you come across.
That's fair. I agree. Yeah. Yep.
I think
how you handle the world is you.
Yeah, I mean, you're going back to the question we had earlier. Like, do your actions reflect the person you were or will become?
Yeah.
100%. I would say yes.
Yeah, and I don't think that. I think you can alter that too. I don't think it's set in stone. If something happens and your immediate response, like you said, if you have a little bit of a trigger or a hair trigger on the old emotions type thing. Mm-hmm. Your immediate response, but then maybe your ability to tame that. You get mad, you ball up your fists, you breathe for a second and consider the situation. And maybe that initial anger, yes, that is a part of you, but that doesn't have to define you if you can control yourself.
Exactly.
If you can better the situation, if you can make everything around you better, if there's a problem and you can better that problem rather than pouring gas on the fire.
Yeah. I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good point.
All right. One more question for this episode, and this one's this is a hard one. All right, you ready for this?
Oh yeah.
What is more important? Helping yourself, helping your family, helping society, or helping humanity?
I think that's an unfair question. I don't know that I can answer that. I mean, it's a good question. It's not a bad one. It's
a hard one.
It's a strong question. Yeah, it's a very appropriate. I more important. That's obviously subjective. That's hard.
It would be different person to person, of course.
Scenario to scenario.
Yeah.
I can absolutely say family. My initial response is family. Mm-hmm. Family's more important than me. But how can I ensure my family's happiness, future, and things of that nature if I don't also consider myself important? I can't just be like, it's not black and white. It's not.
We are. Yeah.
The society and humanity, that's interesting for me, because whenever I first read this, my first thought was like, well, the heck with everybody else, they'll figure it out. But that's not fair. I recycle. Not to get into politics, but I don't mind the thought of my tax money going to paying teachers. That's for sure. Yeah. I really think there's some jerks out there, but for the better part, people are good. Boy, it was hard for me to say that. People are good, and they deserve happiness. All of us, you, the listener, you deserve happiness. There's no reason you shouldn't.
Especially our listeners.
Yeah. You're more important than all the other people in my lesson about not being more important.
We love you.
So, which one's more important? I could probably rank them, but I can't say that there's a huge jump between each one.
Right.
Obviously, I'm going to put family first, and then after that, do you put yourself before society, humanity. I mean, I'm assuming society would be like a more localized group of people, whereas humanity is all 7 or 8 billion. I don't know how many there are, but I think we as a society need to consider that every person you look at, every person you interact with, every person you see, even fleeting driving past you down the road, we're all in this together. We all have our battles. And I think it's very important to consider that, whenever somebody does cut you off, maybe they're running late for their grandma's 95th birthday. Maybe they're just a jerk that sucks at driving. But
you don't know. You can't make that distinction.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us to put that importance in everyone. Just I feel like 1% more compassion would change the world.
Yeah.
In every direction.
Absolutely.
What about you? I actually haven't been asking you these last couple questions. What is more important to you?
I am going to go the absolute selfish route with this. My family is more important to me than anything else on the planet.
Okay, that's where I put mine.
Like, I would burn the entire planet for my family.
I mean, it's... Again, it depends on scenario.
You know what I mean. Like for myself, I don't consider myself to be important in the grand scheme of things at all. I am.
Why?
Well, the way I look at it, like, I am just a peon. Where we're all stardust, one of those kind of deals.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, I would drag my body through 10 miles of broken glass that's on fire, for my family.
What about that prospect doesn't make you that important?
I've never viewed myself as something that would matter in the retrospect of the happiness of my family. Like, I would sacrifice anything that I have, to make sure that my family has what they need.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
It does, but that doesn't answer my question. What about that doesn't make you important?
I don't know. I guess I've never, viewed myself as important because I'm always looking at things more on a grander scheme. Like, there's things like I'm trying to improve upon myself.
Right.
You want to be a better this, want to be a better that. But I will always put my needs second to my family's.
Second is fine, but not important. I mean, second place. That's
maybe I just worded it incorrect.
Yeah, that's what I want to. I'm trying to get to the bottom of. Is you should. You can put others above yourself. You can put others before you, but still recognize that you as a person matter.
Yeah.
Well, you say yeah.
Well,
you can't, that's not fair.
The only people that I want to matter to are going to be my family. I don't really care what anybody else thinks. That's the thing.
Okay.
Like, society, humanity, in this question, as an example, like, I really don't like society or humanity. There's a growing populace of just morons that think that the Earth is flat. Like, we have resurgence of diseases.
Those aren't humans. Those are Neanderthals that somehow survived.
Yeah, but you have these resurgence of diseases that should have been eradicated because people think that, like, giving your kids vaccines causes autism.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the mindset. Like, we elected a orange entertainer as the president of the United States, thinking that he's going to change anything by turning around and filling office with every single billionaire he could possibly think of. Like, I'm not trying to get into politics. I mean, you can guess who I voted for, but that kind of thinking just drives me insane. Like, every single day, people are just being enticed and brainwashed by things such as Fox News. Like, you want to call yourself fair and balanced, but you only report half the story. Like, okay. I don't understand why society as a whole is becoming dumb. Like, this is the year 2019. We're supposed to have flying cars, and we don't have that kind of thing. Instead, we're literally telling people that we landed on the moon. Like, we shouldn't have this kind of problem. We're going backwards. And every single time I read another story about this, it pisses me off to the point where I really wouldn't mind if, society caught on fire. I really wouldn't care. Maybe that would be best for the planet. Like, there are people that think that global warming doesn't exist. Like, are you kidding? How is it every single year we have the next hottest year on record? Like, the polar ice caps are melting. Like, we have physical proof. And there are people that think, oh, humans can't do anything to the planet. There can when there's 8 billion of them. Mm-hmm. Like, it makes me insane just thinking about that kind of stuff. And I really wouldn't care if society or humanity just went away. Maybe we do need a reboot. It's why are we going backwards?
Well, I tend to agree with your points throughout that entire thing. I'm
sorry.
Well on board. No, that's fine. This is what we're here for, is to voice our opinions. I don't know that a general disdain or lack of caring for society is the appropriate response. It's the one you in your heart want to have. You want to dismiss folks and tell them, tell yourself that these other people don't matter. And I think it would be better to try to remember that they're people. Try to understand that some of their fears are maybe legitimate seeds that grew into hatred trees.
Right.
I don't know that it's fair to say these people don't matter, other people don't matter. There's a lot of folks out there that hate me for color of my skin, right, or what have you.
Well, how about this? How about I would put humanity in society above myself in my family if I could get them to realize that science is actually a thing. So like there's a difference between a belief and a difference between a actual proven fact. Right, but
see to me that makes it sound like I would put myself above others if they would do that for me, and in a sense, and I'm not trying to argue. I'm just trying to converse here with you. But I think your, I don't want to say lack of respect, but your attitude towards these folks will not solve anything. And I don't necessarily think it's up to you. But,
I know for a fact that my attitude's not going to change anything. But here's the thing, like if you're just talking to someone and you don't really understand, what their beliefs are,
mm-hmm.
There's certain things that you just don't talk about. You don't talk about their religion. You don't talk about their relationships. There's
mm-hmm.
so many different touchy things that you just don't want to talk about. Like, we made it a point not to be political.
Yeah, this is the most political we've ever gotten.
Yeah, because if we did a religion episode, we would start a war.
Well.
Yeah, like you just don't talk about it out of consideration.
Right.
I think that would be kind of the most important thing. And if. Yeah, I feel like society would be a better place if more people believed what I believe. But
that's literally what every other person thinks.
Exactly, everyone's the same. You're no better than anybody else,
right?
And that's actually something I try to teach my daughter.
Yeah,
it's like you're not better than anybody, but you might be better informed and fill in the blank.
Yeah,
You can learn something from everybody. Everybody has something that they can teach you.
Mm-hmm. You're not better than anyone else, but you're not less important either. Well, I think that was a good episode.
Good Lord, we got deep.
Yeah, I think that was the plan.
Yeah, we said that we were going to get deep,
and then started digging.
Yeah, my arms are tired from digging that hole.
Yeah. So no, I think that was good. I think that brought up some really good points. Obviously, we don't have answers, and we'd love to hear from the fans. Let us know how you feel about all of this, especially these more deep topics of this.
And
nature.
tell me how much you hate my views. Tell me that you really think that the Earth is flat, you idiots.
Yeah,
you're not idiots. You're listening to our podcast.
Yeah, there's a good chance nobody listening to this.
That's proof that you're not an idiot.
So yeah, that's we're gonna call that a wrap, guys. If you want to kind of lead us out, give them the old social media, this and that.
Oh yeah, make sure that you visit us on the web at stuffamongotherthings.com, where you can download all of our episodes. Does that sound nice and fancy?
Yeah, it did. That was a good promo.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
We should cut that and use that in other things.
Hey, we could probably use that in the intro.
We're not going to.
Yeah,
we should.
For people that are listening, we are videotaping this. Hopefully, the phone that I am using to videotape this did not cut out and actually records a 1 hour and what is that? 6 minutes? 5 minutes? Yeah, we'll see, but. If it records, it'll be on YouTube and all kinds of fun things.
So thanks for tuning in, everybody. We definitely appreciate you. We're here to talk to you. You're our friends, even those that we don't know.
Yeah, we're getting downloads from Japan and France and places I didn't even know that we knew anybody.
I thought you were going to say places you didn't know existed, and I'm just going to have a rant about them, the U.S. educational system. But I'm glad it didn't go that way.
I know where Canada is.
Is it the one that's up or down?
I'm going to close the border for all Mexico countries. Anyhow, tune in next week. We're going to, I guess, if we're following the schedule that I did.
Yeah, what is next?
Next, books.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some literature. Yeah.
All right.
And things and stuff.
So thanks for tuning in.
And catch you next time.
All right.
Peace.
This has been the Stuff Among Other Things weekly podcast. For a complete list of episodes, visit us on the web at stuffamongotherthings.com.